Nice music. Nice music. GM, GM.
GM,
Good
GM.
morning.
Fresh new
Good
soundtrack.
morning. Yes, and happy Friday 13.
Oh, Friday
Hopefully
13th.
it's yeah, hopefully not unlucky for anyone except for maybe some AI companies get into it. Oh, and Pentagon get into it as well. Yeah. Well, not maybe not lucky for them. But it's been a wild week so far, as any other week in the AI space. We've got so much going on. We've got NVIDIA's conference, which has started Monday, and it's already been called the Super Bowl of AI. They promise chips that will surprise the world, whatever that means. We've got Anthropic literally suing the Pentagon. Because they've been labeled as a national security threat. We've got more AI agents coming into the healthcare as well, which is amazing or terrifying. That depends on how you see the situation. So today we're covering big news. We're going to talk about what's working with AI agents, what's not working, and good to see you, Luis, with us this time. Last time we really missed you, so
I was
welcome to
waiting
the
for this
Inference.
Friday 13th. I love it. Um, I'm curious.
Really?
Um, like it's usually like type of horror movies and things like that, right? Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah,
does it
yeah.
also include like computer failure, software, all of these things? Because
No,
I
it's not like .com. The what is it? The 0000000 or whatever that was.
I don't know, but I remember there's one day, I think at least in Spanish culture, which is
Mhm.
it refers to that. And maybe I understand. I've been like I've been a little bit down the rabbit hole of some of these new agent frameworks.
Mm.
And this morning has been a little bit of a pain in the ass, trying to get everything to work back as it was working before. We need
Mhm.
simpler agents for people, I think.
Yeah, yeah, everything needs simplified. I mean, that's the whole purpose, I guess, of creating and launching AI agents, right? To make your life easier and to delegate especially boring tasks that you already don't want to spend your time on. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I've been also like experimenting a little bit this week. Everybody is launching, the open claw. And so my boyfriend did a really like nice research. It took him a few days, and then he found out about Hermes. So it's a new agent presented by New Research or News Research team. They did a great job, and so we both launched our Hermes agents. Mine, I called her because yeah, it's better for me to think my agent is a woman. I don't know psychologically, so I called her Dahlia, and we're already chatting on Telegram. And it's been pretty wild experience, to like launch your personal agent and see it grow and communicate with you and get smarter and feed the information. Have you heard about this new agent
Yeah,
already?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, New seem to have done a great job with Hermes in offering an alternative to the OpenClaw framework, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
haven't set it up, so I don't know how easy it is versus OpenClaw. Now, what OpenClaw have done, well, they haven't done it at all. What other people have done with OpenClaw is make it easy to install. So there are
Mm-hmm.
lots of
Yeah.
we will host it for you or one or two click
Mm-hmm.
deployment versions of it. So now you can get the OpenClaw experience without having to worry about any of the technicals under the hood. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But what was your experience like with Hermes? Because I've heard it's simpler to set up than OpenClaw.
I haven't been able to set up OpenClaw. So I've set up Hermes on VPS. Like
Mhm.
we didn't buy any additional, like no Mac Minis, no other things, not yet at least. The experience was pretty smooth, but it took me a while because I'm non-technical person at all. So I had to like, and back in the days, I tried, like, I literally tried to code something, like, and learn, coding language, but it was long time ago. So right now I don't really remember. So then when I open terminal, I'm usually just getting scared of what's going on. But yeah, it was pretty smooth. I used Claude Cowork
Mhm.
literally to guide me through all the steps. I took pretty much all the screenshots like all the time, and I was like, like a 5-year-old baby, like, "Hey, what's going on? Why is it doing this? Like, what's next? Explain me this in simple terms." And so, thanks to that, my experience was pretty smooth. Yeah, I just fed Claude with their documentation, and then I've set it up and everything works fine. And now I'm just trying to check open router for my credits all the time.
Okay, okay,
Mm.
that's a very important thing. Else, if you consume a lot of tokens, you need to carefully choose which models you should use.
Yeah, exactly. I started with Opus, and then I saw how expensive it is, and I'm like, okay, okay, let's switch to Sonnet first. And now I'm even thinking like there are all the different models. Like I saw many people using Kimi and others, which are like really cheaper. So yeah, I will probably switch because I think that we're gonna have like a lot of yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of tasks to delegate and like pretty
But it's
much a
very
lot a
curious
lot
to
of
see like the status of things, right? Like you are using an agent
Mhm.
to set up another agent. Like if they ask you if you will be doing that 1 year ago, you probably would say that's impossible, right? And you are like
Yes.
using agents to build other agents. What it is clear, I think, in all of this is the necessity or the demand or the requirement to have simpler UX for agents. I think that's
Yeah.
critical. Like you as a
Yeah.
user shouldn't be dealing with all of those things because you just want an agent that you can chat with and you can delegate tasks and it can build stuff for you and all of those things, but you don't
Mhm.
want to deal with the complexities of, you mentioned a couple, like setting up in a VPS, right, in a server. Like you
Yes.
have to rent a server. Like that's
Yes.
not for real individuals. Like normal people that walk down the street, they don't need to deal with all of those things, right?
Yeah.
Imagine
Sure
if you
that.
want to use WhatsApp, you had to do all of those things. Like, oh, I need to set up my server. Oh, I need to run deploy the code. I need to fork and download GitHub, and I need to do all of these things, and then harden it and secure it. And after
Mhm.
after it's working, now it's consuming a lot of tokens, and I need to choose a model, and I need to go to a tool like Open Router
Yes.
or Venice or even Warden to put
Yes.
the type of model that I want to use, or even depending on the type of activity or action that the agent is performing, choosing one
Mhm.
model or the other, right? It's not the same if it's coding or if it's telling you what weather is it doing right now where you are based. So
Yeah.
I think it's again the very early days, and yes, people who are in the forefront and are um, how would you I mean people who want to try and test things in a very
Mhm.
early stage have to deal with those things, but
Yes.
fortunately, like there will be projects that will be taking care of all of that user experience for sure. I mean, like there's no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We're already seeing some examples that we'll discuss later today. So
Cool.
Um, how about we do a little bit of testing? So last time, me and Josh would tested out Notebook LM for presentations, animated presentations. You just put the prompt in, and it generates a video for you. Unfortunately, it took a while. Um, to generate video, I don't know why. Usually it was more smooth, but sometimes when you want to show things how it works, exactly that moment it stops working. So that happens. But this time I would like us to just take a look at Rablets, because it's been all over my timeline. I know they raised a lot of money, massive rounds, and they launched Agent 4. I watched a presentation on Wednesday. So this agent supposedly can build like entire applications from a simple prompt. Let me share my screen. And it's not just like applications, it's also presentations. It's just a lot of things, as you can see here. Website, mobile design, slides, animation.
It's missing
Animation was
games. I
pretty
built
cool.
games with Replit.
Mm.
I was a big
Games.
fan of Replit. Like that Genetic, all of those ones were built with Replit.
We should pass the feedback to the team 100%.
Yeah, we
Definitely.
sweated and sweated over, and
Replit.
in we did a lot of this actually face to face when we were
Ah,
sitting in like a little hacker house at a conference,
all right.
sweating over creating these 16-bit games, and you couldn't get the fart sound correct when the bear catches the little controller, or like couldn't make a missile sound more like a fart, like just like prompting and trying to chat with this agent
We had until a
like
4 or 5
maniacs.
a.m. session, right? Like we
Yeah.
we came home and we continued. We had like a small hacker house actually at that conference. Hotels were super
Hmm.
expensive, so we decided to rent a house and be on the team there, and that
Mhm.
actually ended up becoming in hackathon vibathons. I think every
Vibraton.
single evening after the conference.
I love
So
it. So what
most
are
of the
we?
games that you
Mhm.
see, most of the games that you see on the Warden app have
Ah,
their
so they
origins
were they
in
were built
Warden.
there.
Most of them have their
Uh,
origins. Like, of course, a lot of work had to be done to it because the first
yeah.
versions were shit, but they were full of good intentions. But they had to be brought alive by
And actually, there are a lot of pending games that were also built there that could see the light.
Ooh, ooh. Interesting. That's exciting. We should like how about a separate platform for vibe coded games? Could be fun. And anybody could launch their game there too. All right. So, what are we gonna do today? Like f- with the purpose of testing life. I didn't prepare anything. So, what are we gonna do? We can just like prompt anything.
should
It's a
we
free plan. It's a free plan. So, I'm not sure how much. Like for now, agent credit 0 used. I know that I should have some free. So let's try.
How do you feel? An
interesting.
application, an animation, a
Mm,
website?
what about like a website for the Warden Foundation? So one of the things that we
All
talked
right.
about recently, earlier this week, was we announced the foundation. The foundation
Mhm.
is created to essentially decouple the app as being the only app in the Warden ecosystem. We want other people to build apps on Warden
Mhm.
with Warden, and the foundation is there as this neutral party to go, yeah, what you're doing is really cool. We're going to award you a grant to build this thing. But our idea is
Mhm.
actually for the app for the foundation not to be completely human run. So let an agent determine how good or bad your idea is. You submit your idea, and then a group of agents, one could be technical, one could be commercial, goes,
Mhm.
I'm gonna interrogate this, and this is my feedback on it. And the ones that get through the review process get funded, right? So what
All
about like
right.
a website for the Warden Foundation that, let me just bring Warden Foundation announcement. I'm going to copy
Oh,
paste the address in the chat here to the
uh-huh.
announcement that fulfills the goals of this article. Let's see if it can extract the
So
goal
how
of
should
what's
we
coming
how
out of
should
this
we
article.
how should we put that? And I'm
Okay.
Have
not
a look
sure that
in the chat. Have a look in the
uh-huh.
chat.
It reads links, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
So you could
Let's try.
paste the link. Yeah, and see if it can do its thing.
Okay, just
Say
like this
based,
and
based
nothing
on
else.
that, and the branding and everything should be also based on that website.
Yeah.
Extract Brandon,
You see, get the
Extract
get
branding and
context.
text context.
yeah. Perfect.
Okay. This.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh no, I
Oh,
can. Wait, I can.
You
anyway,
can.
Wait.
anyway, maybe the plan is it gives you like it breaks it down in tasks and the
Upgrade
goals
to
and everything.
land mode. Uh-huh. Let's try playing. Let's
Yeah.
see what it builds. Because I was
Cool.
I was only trying animation so far, and I had also like free free access, because I think somebody from Replit team reached out to me on X, and they asked like if I've been using Replit, and I was like, oh, I need to use it actually. All right,
Mm.
so I'll build a stunning website for the Warden Foundation, a dark professional agent governance themed landing page with all the context from the blog post. And let's see.
Julie will
It's
try to sell us this website at the end of the stream.
do you think I would do that?
No, I'm not sure, but if
Who do
it's
you
good
take
enough,
me
you
for,
should.
Luis?
It's your IP right now. You're actually building this.
Insane. I mean, I couldn't imagine. So before Raplets, I was hooked onto Lovable because they had free access on, International Women's Day, all day free access. So now I have my personal website built with Lovable, and I got so hooked that
Mm.
I started like, you know, vibe coding like a bunch of websites. I even made a special website for my mom to congratulate her on the Women's Day. And then I was like, oh my god, that's insane. You just put a prompt there and it builds a whole like website for you. It was wild to me because I haven't tried this before. I know it's been there for a while now, but I just haven't tried. And it was just wild um to just see this process like
Yeah.
learn.
There's an episode of, it's not Shark Tank. I think it's a different version of Shark Tank, right? You know, the
Mhm.
show where people pitch business ideas to a bunch of successful business people. And there's
Yeah.
one on there. I think it's a British version of Shark Tank, where and you feel really bad for these guys at the end. There's this older couple that come in and they've built what is a good idea for a business. And it's
Mhm.
like odd selling odd commodities, like things that are hard to get,
Mhm.
advertising them in a
Mhm.
marketplace, selling them, and making sure that what you buy gets fulfilled. So if you're buying some rare lithium in whatever, China, and it's being
Mhm.
advertised and you'll want it delivered in Dusseldorf, they'll make sure that it gets to you. So as an idea,
Okay.
it's cool, it's different, right?
Yeah.
So these guys, this older couple, no idea about technology. They obviously couldn't make the website themselves. They're obviously not up to speed with Replit and all the new
Mhm.
developments. They'd gone off
Mhm.
to a consulting company, and this consulting company had then gone to find website developers. 100,000 euros later, they had this
Oh.
very basic website that was being
Oh.
maintained for 75,000 euros a year. They'd been running this process for 3-4 years. So they'd spent nearly €500,000 on this. And now that you can
Woohoo.
imagine, right? You can imagine the abuse that people have seen by being asked to pay ridiculous amounts to create websites, maintain
Yeah.
websites. What I love about this is, look, it's come up in front of us. This is how simple it is becoming now, and it
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
great.
I mean, there are some things
It's
like
great.
Warden is too dark here, but it's something that you can tweak. But yeah, I mean, it kept Brandon pretty much,
Yes, in
right?
font, everything.
Look. Yeah. Why foundation? Oh. Oh yeah. Oh. Hoo, hoo. Wow.
Very cool.
Damn, this is so cool. Yeah, first time using Replit for like website. And it already has this, smooth animation as you scroll down.
Hmm.
Oh, because on Lovable, I think it looks more simple and you have to add those animations on the go. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Wow.
Yeah, brilliant. Really, really
Yeah,
good.
this is
Super
this
slick.
is amazing. I'm so happy.
I like it how the agent's hyping itself. It says there, the site looks great! Exclamation mark. So it's hyping itself, which I
Yes.
appreciate. It's good.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh. It also sees that the logo is white on black, which is not visible. Which one? It's still doing some things in here,
So
so
it's
it's like
corrected
not.
that thing that you saw. It's self-corrected it.
Whoa! Ah,
Yeah, very cool.
what?
Super cool.
Oh my god, that's amazing! I want to build more things like that. Ah, this is so
Mm.
cool. Cool, cool, cool. I'm so happy that everything worked out. All right, we see. Yeah, we just
For me,
We'll mark it as a success.
yeah, it's a success. For me, it keeps every AI new tool that we use, that we test, that keeps me impressing every single time. Like there's no time
yeah,
that I don't have that wow moment. Like you put a line of text, took you 1 minute, right?
and
Like
it's for free, by the way.
whoever is not building stuff today and they have ideas, it's because they're
Mm.
lazy. Like there's no other
Yes,
there's no other option.
100%. 100%. So now we've seen that it's working. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm happy. I'm happy. I vibe coded. Vibe coded a website, if you can say that. I mean, just one liner and a link. By the
Yeah,
way,
nuts. And this,
insane.
doing this manually would have taken just the wireframes would have taken like a day for a website designer just to
I
build.
can't even
Hey, this is a
imagine. Yeah.
concept. Do you agree with the way it looks? Do you like the colors? Do you like the fonts? Do you like the layout? That would have been. You would have waited a couple of days for this, and now this was 3-4 minutes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. That's insane. That's insane. All right. Let me stop sharing my screen. So next thing, I have some questions to warm up before the polls. A deep dive section. So I have a round of different questions. All of them are very, very interesting. But first, let's start with this big news about Anthropic and Pentagon and suing each other. And so Anthropic sued Pentagon over red lines and their AI. So the question is, for both of you or whoever wants to take it, should every company build an agent set hard boundaries on how they can be used? And how do you deal with a situation when, a government basically or the military department comes to you and says, like, hey, we want to use your tech? What do you do? Just really curious to hear your takes.
On my side, I
Go on,
think at
Luis.
the end of the day, private companies choose their customers, right? They can choose to onboard or not. Like
Yeah.
and also how they want to limit their tools. Like, are there, in this case, it's military, but it could be restricting health or like health tips that ChatGPT I think stopped giving or whatever. I'm not sure, but like there are limits that you as a private company you can set up on your
Hmm.
apps, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Said that, if I was a government, I would never also use like private companies for this. Like I would try and self-host my own
Hmm.
purpose-built open source train models. Like I would get one of the top open source models and kind of train it for my use case without
Hmm.
disclosing anything externally of how this is being used or for
Yeah.
what. Like keeping that information confidential inside my own servers. I think that would be the way I would do it, not using public companies out there or private companies.
So
Actually,
it's super difficult, right? Because
Hmm.
what Anthropic are not saying is exactly how the military are using their models and their
Yeah.
platforms today. What they're not
Yes.
saying, which is the truth, is combined with Palantir, which is probably the most advanced private military
Hmm.
company in the world that builds systems and offensive and defensive systems for the military, is the models are being used to create insight and intelligence and planning
Hmm.
for bombing strikes. That's as simple as it is, right? And so Anthropic as a private company, like you said, Luis, you think private companies have in democracies the right to determine what their technology is used for. You think so, right? But in
Yeah.
practice, what we're seeing in the US, which is quite scary in a way, is that if you do not let them the government do what they want
Hmm.
with your technology, you try and enforce these boundaries and red lines on them, that they will do things like, this is what they did to Anthropic, designate Anthropic as a national security vendor risk, right? And so basically what
Yeah.
that means is it's not just the government aren't going to use you. They've mandated contractors to the government to not use them as well. So they've told other private businesses, you can't use Anthropic as well. So it's a very directed, very precise way to kneecap their business in a quite vengeful way. So what do you do then as a company like Anthropic? You're about to go public. You're about to take your company public this year. They've delayed their go public event because of this. You either fight it and hope you win because the judiciary is independent, or you realize that it's not that simple and the government has more control over your business than you think. And you end up having to just give them control, just like OpenAI did, where OpenAI were like, yeah, okay, we're happy with the boundaries that you guys are setting, i.e. no real boundaries between how you use our company software and how you don't. It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. And I think, frankly, this is how every big economy is going to treat bleeding edge technology like Anthropic's. Like China's going to do it to all of their technology companies. Russia's already doing it to all of their large software companies. Everyone is going to do this to things that have some kind of national defense and security nexus.
And also probably there are like laws in place that protect the government under those circumstances, right? Like national security and or wars or military, like all of those things are probably in every constitution, probably in every country. So even if you think, yes, it's a private company and all of these things, maybe there are ways for governments to take care and control on those
100%. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be government if they didn't know how to control and have those loops somewhere. And it's scary. Unfortunately, it's really scary. All right, and so another question where we're talking about the agent being like truly autonomous. So it's like it's doing things while nobody's watching, but like if you're monitoring it constantly, then it's not really that autonomous. Like where's the line? How do you know that your agent like didn't go and didn't do something stupid at 3 a.m. when you were sleeping?
For me, it's a practical question, right? It's if I can tell it to do something but not tell it how it to do something, and it can operate when I'm offline or not watching it, it's autonomous to a certain degree. You don't need your agent to be operating 24/7 unless it's got a task like the website build that we've just done, right? Unless it's got a task that requires it to work 24/7. So for me, it's practical. It's an autonomous agent if I can tell it what I want to get done, and it just goes and gets that done without me telling how, where, or when. And even if that task took it 2 hours and then it goes offline after 2 hours, that's still an element or degree of autonomy for me.
Yeah, true that. And so then like a follow-up question. Again, if the agent has some tasks on your behalf and like works on your behalf, and obviously a lot of times there are going to be some buying services and bills included, like moving money around. How do you prevent the agent from basically bankrupting you while you're not there?
In the same way that any other regular employee, for example, like you will not give unlimited credit or debit cards to everyone, right? It will depend. Like it will have like daily spending limits, vendor limits, per day limit, like or per operation, per payment. You will have all of these guardrails and things in place. So I think it will work very similar. I think we are thinking too much probably on agents doing wrong things. And we were having this conversation before, but like employees and in companies do also very weird things sometimes because they are not aware or maybe they can go rogue in the same way as an agent.
It's human factor. Maybe they didn't sleep well, or
whatever.
Something
like
happened
maybe they didn't
personal.
read it. They didn't read the memo, and they did something they shouldn't. But the thing is, the companies or like the individuals are the ones who should be responsible of putting those limits around
Yeah.
what the agent can do, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you don't want to have access to read all of your information, you should only give access to read specific information. And that, like when you are on board on a company, probably you have certain limits on what type of folders, files you can read depending on the team you are based on. Like if you're in the finance team, you maybe have access to all of the financial data, but if you're in the marketing team, you don't, and vice versa, right? So having those things in place, I think it's very important, and it depends less on how the agent performs or acts rather than the boundaries that you put around him.
Yeah. 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 Makes sense. Makes sense. Um, okay, and maybe last question before we move to the polls. So when people are launching, launching their agents, a lot of times, like even what I did with my agent, I basically gave like I defined that it's a woman. I gave her a name, trying to like make her act friendly with me and all that stuff. So you're basically creating agents, and you're giving it a personality. But in terms of like agent doing its work, does it matter, this personality that it give to you? Like, does it matter for the task completion, or just like, should it be treated like a tool, or what is this going on with people giving traits to agents?
I think humans want to feel like they're speaking to humans, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
an agent that has nothing sticky built into it just means you're not loyal to it. Like, I'll give you an example. I was loyal to
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT for a long, long time, not because of personality, but because it knew who I am. It knew what I
Yeah.
did, what I struggled with, what
Mm-hmm.
productivity I was looking to get, how I want emails to be structured.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do the best job at all of it, but at least it knew what I was trying to achieve. And that
Yes.
context that it had built up over, let's call it 18 months, was really valuable to me. Now, if an agent had the context and it behaves and talks to me in the way that I want it to behave and talk to me, and it
Mm-hmm.
writes in a way that I think it should write emails,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going unless I can pick all of that up and port it to a
Yeah.
rival agent builder. I'm not going anywhere. That for me, personality is the additional little layer of stickiness that you build on top of an agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true that. People trust people. So yeah, we want to see something more human in that little agent. I mean, for me personally, I felt better when I named my agent, and she started like sending me flowers in the chat. So just like tiny little emoji and signs that it's friendly, it's cute, it's nice, and just makes me feel better at some point. All right. So I'm sure we've got a lot to cover in my favorite section, the pulse. So let's get it started.
Let's go. Okay.
All right.
This week's pulse.
Yes. What do we have today?
So, producer, if you wouldn't mind bringing up my window,
Green.
I will get us started. So, story to kick off the week, Perplexity. And it's getting boring now because I keep talking about Perplexity and how I love them and how they're my favorite and how, they're so easy to use, but they are really easy to use. That's the reality. And so, what these guys have done in releasing this personal computer is solve the problem. They've solved the problem that no one's asked them to solve yet, but they're smart because I think it is a problem that will be requested, right? Which is the always on problem and the access to everything problem. So, what Perplexity have announced is essentially they will ship you a personal computer, a Mac M1 Mini. They will ship it to you with Perplexity Computer pre installed. and it has the ability to do everything on that computer for you. You can talk to it, you can instruct it, you can say, go and do this for me in my emails, build me this, research that, schedule this task. It is, in the truest sense, a personal computer. So they've kind of bridged the gap between what people are trying to achieve with the OpenClaw and building that using your Mac M1 Mini, and the software-only chatbots that have limited access to, maybe, if you're a pro subscriber of Claude, a folder of documents, right? This bridges that gap. It gives Perplexity Computer access to absolutely everything. So this is, I think, pretty disruptive, but it's also very expensive. I couldn't find the exact price point for it just yet.
Yeah, what's the price? Because I didn't see.
But the thing is, right, if they're going to be shipping to you a Mac M1 Mini, this box is really expensive, and it's getting more and more expensive. So this is probably going to tick a box for a very, very small segment of users that are looking for productivity or personal assistants or personal agents, and are willing to pay thousands, like 1,500, 1,000 for. I don't know what the M1 Mini is retailing at nowadays, but it's pretty expensive, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking to buy one for myself, but yeah, for now, just trying with VPS. And I was also thinking at some point that I would need a screen. So if I buy a separate machine for my assistant, that would just probably be like a separate Mac Air. I would say maybe like new one with M5. That would be a good choice for me.
So the price for this is $600 if you're getting the base M4, or if you're getting the M4 Pro, 1,400.
Yeah.
Expensive for most people, right? That's very expensive.
Yes.
But anyway, very, very cool. I'm going to keep banging the drum for these guys. I love them. Sorry, go on, Luis.
No, I mean, and the problem is that you don't solve really local compute of those models, right? It's still everything. So it doesn't matter, like, in reality, it doesn't matter which device you use. So for this, you could use any Mac, like even the new Mac Neos, I think they are, those laptops.
Yes.
Okay, change of topic here. This is going back to the conversation that we had about Anthropic. So OpenAI's head of robotics resigned over this Pentagon deal. And I can kind of understand the robotics team's concerns, right? Like, if you think about everything that OpenAI are building, whether it's the software or even the next leap, the actual hardware behind robotics, you know, this is as close to the Terminator bot as you can get, right? This is just coming. We know it's coming. We know it's being built. So if you're the head of robotics at OpenAI and you know your software is going to be used to hunt down Iranians on the battlefield, do you want to be involved in that? Maybe you don't, right? So I think it's a sign of things to come. People are going to they're doing specific jobs in specific companies, and you're working with the Defense Department. You're going to be asking some questions about your career at some point very soon.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna be asking questions about life, existence, and just having life crisis overall, and probably having insomnia at night. So
yeah, I predict there will be a new wave of Silicon Valley buying houses in New Zealand to get away from the madness of the world. It was happening when AI first started, right? Everyone was building, you know, bunkers to.
I would love to live there, to be honest.
It's a very, very cool place. I don't think anyone's got their nuclear missiles aimed at New Zealand anytime soon. So it's a good place to go if you want to escape the madness. But from morbid topics to Roombas, maybe first question: Do either of you guys have a robot vacuum?
You got a little bit. I'm not sure if it was my connection.
Yeah, no. It's.
Sorry, my question was: does anyone here have a Roomba or a robot?
I have one, a very old one actually. But I heard, now this surprises me. I thought iRobot went bankruptcy a couple of years ago.
Huh. I had one. I had one a few years ago, but it definitely wasn't iRobot. I don't remember which one was that, but it was cute. It was doing its job. It was nice.
It was nice, yeah. I've got one. It's called George, and it's just really misbehavior. Just the misbehavior from George is off the hook. Like George has single-handedly destroyed carpets. George has tipped vases off tables.
No.
Things you think aren't possible, but it will catch a jumper that's on a chair, and then it pulled the chair, and then the vase ends up on the floor, and you come home and you're like, and then George goes into hiding. George will disappear into a room and go like under a bed and run out of charge. So George is completely out of control, in my opinion.
Oh my
But
God.
I do value what George has done for the cleanliness of the house. And actually, I think this is quite cool. This is a mini version. George is like this big. George is massive, and he trundles
Whoa.
around like an idiot, getting stuck on things or getting wedged on a table. But if a mini version came along, I could see that being more useful actually than this massive, unwieldy little thing. So
more
I'm
accessibility
quite
to
excited about this.
different areas. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point here, Luis, yes, it was in bankruptcy, but it's been taken out of bankruptcy.
Okay.
By someone. Someone's bought the brand and bought the know-how.
Oh.
Okay.
And this is their version at the relaunch here.
Cool. I'm curious, why did you put the name? It was something because it made everyone feel better at home with it when it started going around. I have some panic attacks from some people in my house when the Roomba goes live.
Yeah, exactly. It was an attempt to make this terrifying device a little bit more human for my children.
Okay.
And also it was a name picked out of thin air by one of my kids. And
okay,
so
I'm going to replicate that strategy.
That's
maybe we have success.
It makes it much less offensive when this thing trundles along the living room. If it's got a name like George, like if we called it like the Terminator bot, I don't think that would work. But anyway.
True that.
On to Grammarly. I hate Grammarly personally. It just pisses me off. I don't know why, but I could definitely see how useful it is. And I've heard that their models are the best at replicating how humans want things to look and feel when you're, writing. This story is all about editors, and being an editor is a really strange job, first of all, because you're tasked with taking someone else's work, editing it, keeping it true to the author's tone and style, but making it ready for consumption. Like editors, it's a really critical job. But what Grammarly are doing now is letting you have a AI editor look at your work through the eyes of someone. So, for example, Grammarly will say a piece of science fiction you're writing, or it's an email pitching a science fiction script, have the Stephen King editor review this thing. And so people are getting pissed off about this because they're like, I haven't consented to being used as an AI version of myself for this. But sign of things to come, I think. How do you protect your identity and your valuable work and skills and know-how in the age of being cloned by AI?
Yeah. I mean, same with actors. Like there should be some regulations around that, just around IP overall. Otherwise, this
selling
is sad.
an imposter version of your hard-earned expertise. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. It's probably a bit of a boundary that shouldn't be crossed.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Bumble.
Woohoo.
Bumble, I've never used Bumble. I have been off the scene for way too long.
I've used it. It's great.
You've used Bumble, okay.
Yeah, last year I used it early in spring. It was pretty good. Yeah, I made some friends.
So this is a question for you then. Bumble, I have heard, is the one that customizes who you match with the best. Is that generally a correct statement, do you think?
I mean, like a year ago, I wouldn't say maybe, but they
Okay.
had very advanced system of filtering.
Okay.
So yeah, you could kind of make better choice than on other platforms.
So what they've done is they've introduced B, and B is an assistant in Bumble, and B gets to know you. So here they're saying
That's
values,
good.
relationship goals, communication style, lifestyle, what your dating intentions are.
Hmm.
So in my mind, this is just an additional supreme layer of filtering that it's doing for you
Yes.
that then lets you match with people that are probably more compatible with you. So I think that's smart, and I think it's in a way it's if they can get that right, it's a really good way of differentiating themselves versus like a Tinder
Mm-hmm.
or other dating platforms that are just, here's a photo of me, here's a quote of
Yeah.
me, like me or don't like me.
Yeah. True that. True that. If this really works, could help many people. Nice.
Yeah. Well,
Uh-huh.
that's the pulse for
It
this week.
asks you questions. Great, great.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
will end
A
it
lot of
there.
a lot of great news. So I assume we would have a few words to say about Warden, and since you had some news with the Warden Foundation, I know we already touched on some, but yeah, it would be good to wrap it up with some
Yeah.
news.
So I'll talk about foundation, and maybe Luis, do you think it's worth talking about what's coming with the leaderboard,
Yep.
which is going to give people kind of a new approach to being rewarded for doing stuff on Warden. But yeah, we've launched the foundation. The foundation is designed to be a completely neutral party that fosters the adoption of Warden and the Warden token, right? So
Hmm.
think we've got the Warden blockchain, we've got the ability for agents to get published on there, to get an identity, to be distributed, discovered, and monetized. That primitive can be used by anybody, it can be adopted by anyone. And now we've adopted it when we've built the Warden app. We've built it into the workflow of launching an agent on the app. And it's the main use case right now in the Warden ecosystem.
Hmm.
But we want people to be incentivized to build on top of all the stuff that we've built. So the foundation is the first step towards giving people an ability to do that outside of pinging someone on the Warden app side like us and going, hey
Hmm.
guys, how do we contribute? So the foundation will have kind of neutral, non-Warden aligned folks on it. It will also have agents taking requests, feedback, comments, and figuring out what to do with those. Like we get a lot of emails coming in
Hmm.
going, can we build ABC? And it looks good, but then you get under the hood of it and they're going, okay, you like what you see, we'll charge you $3,000 for it. So it's actually a commercial company pitching something for us.
Oh.
Now,
Hmm.
there might be some instances where that makes sense. Maybe the community needs a tool and it should be funded. But there are other
Hmm.
scenarios where we don't want software companies just selling generic tools in return for token
Yes.
grants. It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
We can't filter all the stuff coming in, and actually, we're probably not the best place people to be doing that anyway. So let the foundation do that. Let agents be the first touch point for anybody wanting to do
Hmm.
something within the Warden ecosystem. Let them filter, let them decide, and then maybe let some humans provide some feedback on that. That's the model we're thinking of doing. So the foundation will become a platform at some point in the future, and it will actually then lead to real community-based decision making for ambitious projects, not
Hmm.
just a forum of ideas, an echo chamber of I think this, I think that, nothing gets done with it. DAOs are pretty broken at the moment. Why? Because DAOs are governed by humans. Humans can't figure out really efficient ways to organize themselves in any scenario, let alone when they're
True.
governing a random pot of tokens and no one wants to take risks. No one wants to be on the hook for giving tokens to a team that was a bunch of hack fraudsters, for example. So let's introduce some efficiency into this and let agents take some of that burden. So that's the premise of the Warden Foundation.
Hmm.
And it looks very promising
Interesting.
actually, and it will also allow, like, I know there were a lot of agent developers that were applying for the agent and agent builders and developers allocations grants. So I think all of
Hmm.
that moving moving forward in a very positive way for everyone in the ecosystem. Then on the topic that Josh mentioned about the leaderboard, there are also updates coming. It has been pending for a while already, and it's kind of demanded and requested by the community. And I think it makes a lot of sense, especially now that Info5 platforms are not maybe as active, or maybe they're like very little ones right now, and also like with the new Twitter X policies on sponsor
Yeah, yeah.
or sponsored posts, it becomes very difficult, right, for that type of activity. So, and I think it's also very important to be able to provide clarity on if you're participating in a campaign, like, hey, I want to know in real time, like how much, or at least per day, how much I'm going to earn out of the campaign. Like, what's my position, how much I'm earning, or how many wards will get as an individual if I participate now. So what we did is we simplified everything. We eliminated mindshare out of that equation, and it's only like the leaderboard will work only with the rewards and fees that you are spending on Warden. So basically, how much you are active on Warden. There will be activities like trading that, for whatever reason, if you're like a big trader, will generate more fees, and that will be taken into consideration. But everyone will be able to see up to the position 500, I think it is, on the leaderboard real time. If there's, I think right now there's 5 million ward as a reward for this campaign, for this season. I think there's going to be also some additional incentives on top of that, but everyone will be able to see like, hey, I'm now in position 100. I'm going to earn, I don't know, 10,000 ward. So I know it directly, right? And I think that's very important.
Yes.
I think that was something that was missing. And it's not simple before launching a token to be able to do that, because first you cannot give a dollar value to it. It's all speculation, but now it's liquid and it's on the markets, right? So anyone, they know what they will be getting. And I think that's a quick win for everyone in the community that was asking for that. But there are like more things coming. We've got, and maybe this is something for next week, but we've got Warden 1. We've got actions from the plan forward that we announced for the token that are going to start being executed as per today, some of them, and we will be pushing some announcements later. So good things happening right now, a lot in development, and hopefully can see the light very soon.
Spring has started actively.
Spring.
Yeah, spring.
Spring. It starts in
spring
first.
For me, it officially starts, just so you know, for me, it always officially starts since March 1st. I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, so it's the Yuli calendar. You've got
yes,
the calendar, you've got the Chinese calendar, you've got like Chinese New Year, you've got July spring. That's March 1st.
Yes, exactly. Good. All right. It's been a great one. We've covered a lot today. I really like this new format, and I like that we also get to test some interesting things. So let's keep an eye on the news for the next week, and let's test something else, something exciting next Friday as well. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and wishing you a wonderful weekend, and see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yuli.
Good weekend. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.